Say it again. Wow. Oh, Lord. What is it good for? Absolutely. Listen to me. Wow. It ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Wow. Sing only to the Undertaker. Oh, wow. This is enemy to all mankind. The power of war blows my mind. War is causing rest within the younger generation. Induction, then destruction. Who wants to die? Oh, wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Say it.
Welcome back to the Derek J. Show. Another important episode this May 1st, 2014. We're going through the stories, starting out local in Philly here, where it was reported just a few days ago, just yesterday, that bodega owners were raided by police, had thousands of dollars in cash stolen, had their wedding rings stolen, merchandise stolen. Oh, of course they reported this to the police department, so they're going to have an investigation, and they will investigate themselves thoroughly. Oh, wait, what's that? The statute of limitations just ran up on that investigation. Well, I wish we could prosecute these criminal cops, but we just can't. The clock ran out. Sorry. 2 criminal investigators, part of an FBI-led task force, came to Juan Colado's bodega in 2009 to hear his story. Colado struggled to explain in English how a narcotics squad had barreled into his Tioga store, cut wires to his video surveillance system, and once the cameras went dark, stole almost $10,000 in cartons of Marlboro Lights. He asked them for a Spanish interpreter, and they promised to return with one. They never did. Now it's too late. Last week, news broke of the federal prosecutors had decided not to file criminal charges against the officers, and the 5-year statute of limitations has run out. Not just in Colado's case, but for nearly 24 other merchants with similar allegations. They played the clock game. They let the time run out, said Daniel Burgos, the former head of 300-member Dominican Grocers Association, who is currently running for State House seat in North Philadelphia. Now no charges will be filed, and people have no confidence whatsoever in the process. Colado was one of more than 20 bodega and corner store owners who independently told the Daily News in its 2009 series Tainted Justice that narcotics officers had destroyed their video cameras and then pocketed cash, helped themselves to food and drinks, and walked out with arms full of merchandise. Several merchants told reporters this week that they are angry and puzzled. How could the U.S. Attorney Zane David Memiger close the case without conducting, in their minds, a thorough investigation? Investigators never talked to Eunice and David Nam, a frail Korean couple, ages 63 and 68 respectively, who own an only tobacco shop, and alleged that the officers stole between $3,000 and $4,000 in cash and goods during a July 2007 raid, according to their son, Stephen Nam. They are very disappointed, to say the least, that the cops are not facing any charges, he said. They were basically robbed. The only difference was that instead of the robbers being disguised in a mask, they were disguised as police. Nam, who's 34, said his parents still worry that they could be terrorized again. Eunice Nam told the Daily News in spring 2009, "We were on the floor, handcuffs on me, so I was scared. I wet my pants." A spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney declined to comment yesterday. The Daily News could not find a single merchant who said that they had been called to testify before a grand jury, which mystified several former federal prosecutors. These are serious allegations of misconduct, so it's hard to imagine that they weren't taken seriously, said Don Cochran, a former federal prosecutor. who's now a law professor at Belmont University College of Law in Tennessee. He's best known for successfully prosecuting Bobby Frank Cherry in 2002 for the murder of 4 girls in the 1963 Birmingham, Alabama church bombing. However, if many of the alleged victims weren't interviewed or called before a grand jury, then it's hard to see how a thorough investigation was done, Cochran said. Jeffrey Lindy, a Philadelphia defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor, said the U.S. attorney here has a very well-earned reputation for not shying away from difficult police corruption cases. If true that no merchant appeared before a grand jury, prosecutors likely had a good reason, Lindy said. He cited 3 examples. Prosecutors questioned the veracity of their story, they lacked evidence to back up their story, or they had baggage that would open them up to withering cross-examination. In fact, the officers had arrested the merchants on mostly misdemeanor charges for selling the zipper-sealed bags, which police say are used to package drugs. None of the merchants had criminal records. All were legal immigrants. Dominican merchant Jose Duran provided investigators with a video that captured some of the September 2007 police raid on his West Oak Lane bodega. In the video, the officers are seen slicing wires to Duran's surveillance system. Duran alleged that the officers stole about $10,000 in cash and goods after the cameras cut out. Duran said that he was interviewed once by the investigators, but then heard nothing more. Mo Mataga, whose family moved here from Jordan, owns a South Philly tobacco shop. He recalled yesterday how he and his father sat down with 2 investigators at the FBI's Philadelphia headquarters and talked to them, with their attorney present, for about an hour. Matka, age 28, said an investigator later came out to the store to dust for fingerprints, but they never heard back. Honestly, I just think this makes no sense, Matka said. I don't care who you are. You could be a cop or an FBI agent, and if you do something wrong, you should get charged with it. Look what they did to people. How are you going to let a cop get away like that? On Nigo, like the Nams, said that Sheena was never interviewed by investigators about what unfolded in her family grocery store in the lower Northeast during a 2008 raid. Nigo, aged 30, said that the officers smashed the cameras with a sledgehammer and stole about $12,000, taking her mother's diamond ring and emptying their wallets. To think that some light was shined on this by the Daily News and then the investigation just died is very frustrating, she said Monday. The cops are living nice off the money they stole from us.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Say it again, y'all. Look out. What is it good for? Absolutely. Listen to me. I despise. 'Cause it means destruction of innocent life. One means 10.
You can give a donation to The Derek J. Show by scanning these QR codes that you see now on your screen. The Derek J. Show accepts Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Feathercoin, and if you have something else you'd like to give, just let me know about it at thederekj@gmail.com is my email address. I'd be happy to hear from you. Hear what you like about the show. Be sure to rate and comment these videos, share them with your friends, because I think this is important news. It's just not getting out on the mainstream. So if you value this type of content, please support it with a donation in your favorite cryptocurrency. We will return after more from Edwin Starr.
What is it good for? Absolutely. Say it. Whoa. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Listen to me. Whoa.
All right, so that story was yesterday, reported yesterday. No, it's been going on for years, and seemingly no one knows anything to do about it. The cops just can't be prosecuted. They are above the law. Now, today in Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court has ruled that police officers in the Commonwealth are no longer required to obtain a warrant prior to searching a vehicle. Well, isn't that nice? Well, the decision essentially overturns the protections enumerated in the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution and in Pennsylvania's own state constitution. But that won't stop Justice Seamus McCaffrey, who yesterday issued the court's opinion stemming from a 2010 Philadelphia Police Department traffic stop of a man who had dark-tinted windows and who was later found to be hiding 2 pounds of marijuana under his hood of his vehicle. Oh, well, good thing they found that marijuana. Gosh, that could have really done some harm to the people on the streets. Good thing they didn't use a warrant to search his car. Good thing they violated his property rights because they found that weed. And that would have done so much more damage. In a 4-2 vote, the court decided the prerequisite for a warrantless search of a motor vehicle is probable cause to search. Previously, as explained by Lancaster Online, police were not allowed to search a vehicle unless a driver consented, or if the illegal substances were in plain view. But now, based on the opinion, it only takes a reasonable probable cause for an officer to go ahead and search without a warrant. Not surprisingly, police are ecstatic. It's a ruling that helps law enforcement as they continue to find people in possession of illegal drugs, said New Holland Police Lieutenant Jonathan Heiss. However, in her dissenting opinion, Justice Deborah McCloskey Todd rightly noted that ruling heedlessly contravenes over 225 years of unyielding protection against unreasonable search and seizure, which our people have enjoyed as their birthright. Todd also called the decision diametrically contrary to the deep historical and legal traditions of Pennsylvania. Several defense attorneys also view the court's ruling as a monumental government overreach that could negatively impact the normal day-to-day lives of ordinary citizens. It's an expanding encroachment of government power, Jeffrey Conrad, a defense attorney with the law firm Clymer, Musser and Conrad, told Hambret today. It's a protection we had 2 days ago that we don't have today. It's disappointing from a citizen's rights perspective. Oh, but who cares about citizens' rights? You sure don't. What are you doing about it? I'm concerned, another defense attorney, Christopher Pattison, expressed to Hambret. We're on a slippery slope that will eliminate personal privacy and freedom in the name of expediency for law enforcement. Another lawyer clarified the ruling does not grant police the authority to search vehicles arbitrarily. Oh no! They're not going to use this new law to search vehicles arbitrarily. Quote, this does not mean that they can search every vehicle they stop, Mike Winters said. They must still develop probable cause before they're permitted to search your vehicle without a warrant. Probable cause, like, say, having tinted windows. That was, after all, the cause of the initial court ruling, right? The man had tinted windows and then was found hiding marijuana. So that is justification enough to search a person's car? Tinted windows? What if they look at you funny? Yeah, maybe you just didn't like the look. Maybe you don't like their race. Maybe they're an immigrant. Maybe they don't speak English. Maybe they're easy to kick around. These police have no authority over you. And to treat them like they are your kings, your masters, your slave owners is wrong. And it's your responsibility to make sure you act with authority, because these people will walk right over you. They believe they are your kings. They believe you are their slave. And look, could it be more obvious? They don't need any probable cause. I mean, oh yeah, they need probable cause. They're not just going to search you arbitrarily. It's not like there's such a thing in Philadelphia called stop and frisk, where they can just stop any person off the street and pat you down in all of your private areas. This is criminal. This is Nazi Germany. And for you to not see it is a joke. I mean, what are you waiting for? Some cartoon version of Nazis goose-stepping down the main street? It's here, people. It's here. They wear black uniforms. I've got more to say on this. I was only going to cover those two stories, but this theme is too important. Here we see a crazy cop surrounded by hundreds of witnesses and television cameras. But that's not an issue, because this Georgetown police officer is ready to beat up on high school kids. Now, in the video I'm going to show you, you can see students who were in good spirit and sober run onto the field to celebrate their win for their team. And as you see the students rush the field after the win, a uniformed Georgetown police officer can be seen sticking his leg out to trip a high school student. And then he tries to trip another student. Like an infant trying to throw a temper tantrum, this jackboot realizes he can't stop everyone, becomes enraged, and starts picking off stragglers. A YouTube video shot by one of the students shows a kid limping off the field as this thug is manhandling two girls. Here is that video. These cops are out of control. Here he is tripping those students. Boom! Clear as day. You can see it. He's sticking his leg out, trying to push people over, trying to trip them. Here, this video is not so good. I'm going to see if I can get a better one. Yeah, there we go. I mean, is this criminal or what? Oh, we've got the...
You then see the officer push two other girls. So again, you see the students rush the field after the big win. All of a sudden, you see a Georgetown police officer in uniform stick his leg out and trip a high school student. He then tries to trip another student. Then watch this. This YouTube video shot by a student at the game shows one of them limping off the field. But it doesn't stop there. You then see the officer push two other girls off the field. Tonight, we spoke with the 15-year-old student who watched all of this happen while shooting it on his phone.
I think that he should have used better judgment. And next time, you know, once again, we're high schoolers. We're nothing more than that. We're just trying to have some fun after our team won.
Now we reached
You don't get it, kid. He owns you. You're his slave. He can push you around. He can whip you. He can throw you on the ground. And he's not going to be punished for it because he's not like everyone else. You see, he has a badge and a uniform, and that means he's got authority over you. You didn't consent to it, of course. That's not important. Consent doesn't matter. See, he's your owner. And that's the way it is, see, because he's got the power. He's the one with the force, and might makes right in this new brave world. Well, moms are demanding action against this. It's happening all over the place. Suspected robbery victim Philippe Holland was riddled with bullets in the same city, Philadelphia. Just a pizza delivery guy who suspected he was being robbed. It's one of the most dangerous occupations in the world, more dangerous than being a police officer. Go look it up. The statistics are out there. Being a pizza delivery person is more dangerous than being a police officer. Well, in Philadelphia, PoliceStateUSA.com reports a young man was riddled with bullets while delivering a small food order when two strange men demanded that he stop for them while walking on a dark street. He bolted for his car. The men turned out to be police officers dressed in plain clothes, and they responded to his flight attempt with a hail of gunfire. Philippe Holland had been working two jobs in Philadelphia. One as a pizza delivery guy for Slices and More, and the other at an airport restaurant. Now, full disclosure, I am friends of a friend of Philippe Holland, so I know this man, not personally, but I'm looking to get in contact with him because I'd like to raise money for his defense. For his last delivery Tuesday night, a cheeseburger deluxe, the delivery was so small that he didn't carry a pizza delivery bag. He had known that he would be shot by police. Had he known that he would be shot by police 3 times a moment later, the hoodie-wearing 20-year-old most likely would have carried the bag. Holland delivers the cheeseburger late April 22nd and walked back to his gold Ford Taurus. His hoodie was up and his hands were in his pockets. 2 plainclothes officers were responding to a gunshot call a few blocks away, approached him. The officers asked Holland to stop, but Holland didn't stop. In fact, he rushed to his car and started hurriedly driving. It's believed Holland thought he was being robbed. Not too unlikely in a dark Philly street for a pizza delivery guy. They know he has cash, and these guys are in plain clothes. The officers, who were not wearing uniforms at the time, had been in an unmarked car, and they claimed that they identified themselves as police when they asked Holland to stop. Now, these unmarked cars are intimidating. They do have tinted windows. These cops are big bullies. They are strong men who, it looks like they could be pro wrestlers, and they don't wear their badges in plain sight. Yes, they're wearing guns, and they draw them out whenever they damn well please. They also claim that Holland drove at high rate of speed towards the officers. It's questionable of whether the officers identified themselves or Holland heard them or believed them. The two officers then shot at Holland in his car, and he was driving away. Holland was shot 3 times in the neck, leg, and head. Doctors believe Holland could be permanently blind after one of the shots damaged his eyesight. Holland's vehicle was shot 14 times. Lieutenant John Stanford, police spokesperson, stated that the officers may have violated the department's use of force guidelines when they shot at Holland's vehicle. Oh, good thing they have these guidelines in place. I'm sure those never get violated. It's not like the cops just do whatever they damn well please, use their guns, shoot random strangers on the street that are just suspects. They have no idea that he's done anything. He's not even carrying a gun. This unarmed boy who's just at work trying to make ends meet, delivering a cheeseburger in a South Philly street, gets shot up by the cops, and what's going to happen with them? Nothing. That's our policy. Don't shoot at moving vehicles. It's laid out clearly, Stanford elaborated, but I wasn't there, so I can't say whether these officers were in the right or wrong and what their process of thinking was, or whether they were in fear for their lives or not. Stanford believes the two police may have stood in front of Holland's car in an attempt to stop him, and a move he describes as not tactically sound. The two officers have been placed on desk duty. Oh, so they're keeping their jobs, hey? As they await the results of an internal affairs investigation. Well, isn't that comforting? Their friends and colleagues will be investigating them to see whether or not they did anything wrong. I wonder how that'll turn up, given the history of the Philadelphia Police Department. Commissioner Charles A. Ramsey said, "It's unfortunate all around, and we're praying that this young man is able to fully recover." Well, maybe you should fire the people who are responsible for shooting at this unarmed man. But no, we're not going to see any accountability out of the police department. You can't question these gods. Well, that's it. That's all I've got to say.